Hey everyone, Professor Caldwell here. This is going to be your syllabus video. We're going to go over the syllabus just about line by line. So be sure to stop here if you don't have your syllabus in front of you and go ahead and get that. We're also going to go over Blackboard a little bit. If I have you in my other class, 1300, you still want to go ahead and pay attention to this syllabus. The assignments are very different. The Blackboard's very much the same as far as the thing. But we're going to jump right in. This is DAAC 1305, Theories and Treatment in Addiction Counseling. Again, this is an online class. Here is my cell number. We're going to talk about how you don't use that unless you have to in a few minutes under the communication guide. But office hours, I don't keep traditional hours because of my private practice and because of do intervention work. My schedule changes literally daily. So that said, email me Monday through Friday. You can email me on the weekend if you want, but don't expect a response until Monday. I say that just because I really need to, because if not, I'll get bombarded with emails on Saturday and Sunday. I'll generally get back with you right away. Or as soon as I see it, it comes to my phone. So I'm pretty good about getting back with you. Here is said email address. FYI, this is question 1 on your syllabus quiz. And the reason there's a syllabus quiz, 1, it gives you extra bonus points already right off the bat. But 2 is I get to the end of the season, sorry, I see the Cowboys saying, go Cowboys. Anyway, I get to the end of the semester and people are like, I didn't know. I didn't. Sure you do. It's right here. So everything you need is in this syllabus, right? So if you have questions that can be answered in the syllabus, I'm going to send you back to the syllabus. Because as professionals, you're going to need to have that ability to look for and determine the answer to your questions without just running to somebody for help. So that said, most everything you need is going to be in this syllabus. Now I'm going to help you every step of the way. Don't get me wrong there. You can read through the course description and course learning outcomes, the Catholic social justice dimensions. Here's our required text. Stevens and Smith, 2018, Substance Abuse Counseling, that you will use this book. I know I stated in my other video, I've been through many classes where you don't use a text. I promise you here we'll use the text. There's also a video here that you're going to end up watching at the end of the semester. So that said, I reserve the right to, make additional posts or handouts or whatnot, information, videos, whatever it is, on Blackboard here. This is all done through Blackboard. That is the mode of this instruction, right? So if you're unfamiliar with Blackboard, take this week to get familiar. There is Blackboard help on the actual Blackboard page. I'll show you that, but there's also lots of help through UST. We'll get to that as well. So attendance and participation. We require, and you'll see this is highlighted here, and you're going to hear this multiple times, you're required to log in multiple times a week. If you log in once and miss assignments that have changed, that's on you, not me. Because if it changes, I'm gonna go through the announcements tab, which should be your home screen every time. Plus it'll give you a little notification, hey, new announcement made. If there's any changes or anything to enhance the class, it's gonna go through your announcements page. I'll usually do a video every week. They won't be very long, some 10 minutes, some 4 minutes, some 2 minutes, whatever, right? Whatever it just works out to be. But a lot of times, like on your discussions, I won't respond individually. I'll respond to the class as a whole in a video. It's just found it to be better that way for me and for you. So that said, you are responsible to log in multiple times weekly. Sometimes I put bonus questions on that are only good for that day or for the next 2 days or whatever. So you don't want to miss out on those. So the communication guide, we expect you to follow this. The first place to reach me is through email. Please do not call me, do not text me, unless we've set that up prior, right? Like if we can't address it through an email, I may ask you to call or text me, right? I do that all the time. So it's not that that's off limits, just that can't be your first mode of communication. First, let's start with email. So again, if it's a problem that I can address right away, I'll do so. I check between clients, I check my emails. Again, it comes to my phone and I'll usually respond right away. I always check my emails in between clients. Like today, It's Monday. It's like 9 o'clock, 9:05. I had my 9 and 10 o'clock canceled, so I have some time. So I'll certainly be addressing those issues during that. If it takes more than that, if I have to communicate with a director or a chair or other colleagues to look at procedures, it may take me a little longer. But just be patient, but I'll get back to you and explain that to you. So that said, I'll get back to you pretty quickly. I know when you have something, it's fairly important and you're on a time frame. So again, highlighted here, it's a theme. Be sure to check Blackboard regularly throughout the week, as I post announcements often. So you're welcome to follow my social media. I have professional pages for my counseling centers, or for my counseling center. There's only one. And you're welcome to follow those if you like. If you don't, that's okay too. But I just know I won't respond to any school issues there. So please don't do that. Course assignments. Here's what you need to know right off the bat. You have 2 assignments that are worth half your grade in this class. So in my 1300 class, the assignments are pretty evenly distributed throughout the semester. This is different, right? You're not going to have work due every week in this class, but you have the weeks you don't have work due, you're going to be working on something, right? So your very first one is a intake, interview, and reflection. It's worth 25% of your grade. It's worth 250 of the 1,000 points. You can go through, what you'll do is you'll complete a mock adult intake, including a mental status evaluation and a biopsychosocial history. Just like 1300 is set up to give you experience, so is this. Real world practical experience, right? You're going to be doing these. And so this is going to help you ease into these transitions as you get accustomed to these or familiar with these. So we'll go over this more as time comes, because these aren't due till later in the semester. Your second one's going to be a case study, diagnosis, and treatment plan. It's 25% of your grade. And these are criteria set by the school. So they're super important. That we'll talk more about these, but you can find these assignments in Blackboard, and we'll show you where that's at. You got 4 quizzes. They're 25 multiple choice items. They'll be over 3 chapters. Right, so you don't have a quiz every week, but you'll have 4 of them, and they'll be over 3 chapters each. Then you have some discussion boards, and just like in my other class, there's guidelines to follow for the discussion boards, right? 200 to 250 words minimum, or maximum and minimum. Easy for me to say today. I don't know what's happening. So minimum 200 words, maximum 250. I don't want 700 word essays. That I won't read those. Neither will your classmates. So keep it into the word count. And the reason for that is this. If you're working with a client and you're taking the 700 word route versus the 250 word route, you have a potential of losing them, right? So you want to start training yourself on how to be concise with your words and not fumble all over the place like I just did. So keep that in mind. That's the purpose for this, right? You're required to have 2 scholarly resources, which means Wikipedia is not a scholarly resource. You can use any textbooks you'd like. I will take websites in here, .orgs, .govs, whatever. That said, you have to use, your textbook should always be 1 resource. So you really only need 1 resource. There's an APA video, so you know how to cite it with multiple examples. It's required for you to go over this week, so I hope you do, because it's going to be important. You'll never lose points for not doing it right. You'll lose points for not doing it, though, every time. So keep that in mind. Followed by 2 peer replies with 100 to 150 words with 1 scholarly resource. Again, that should be your textbook. So you don't really need to look up another one. You have one. It's your textbook. You already read it. So use it, right? So that said, original posts are always due on Thursdays by midnight, followed by your 2 peer responses on Saturdays. And the reason for that is, you know, there were many discussions I wanted to take part in, but in my college career, most of them were due on Sundays, right? The whole thing. And then what I found was I was just doing the assignment without taking part in the discussion. So this way, Saturday's due. That way, if Sunday, if anybody wants to have take part in that discussion and reply, you're absolutely welcome to. And I think that's a big deal. You'll be surprised at how much you learn from each other's experiences here. So know that. Now here is your grading rubric. if you want to know why you get a grade that you get, come here first before you email me, because here's exactly why you get the grade you get. It's laid out here as to what, if the assignment's turned in on time, it's not turned in on time, there's 50 points right off the bat, right? So you'll know. Here's both of your 250 point assignments, then followed by your discussion board post. Here's some quizzes. There's not a grading rubric because you either get the right answer or you don't, right? It'll grade it right there. But here's your final distribution of grades. Please note, you must have a C- or above to pass this course. To get a C-, you need a total of 760 points, right? That's your responsibility to keep up with your points. It'll be in your grade book. I grade pretty rapidly. I don't make you sit on that for a while. So that said, here's the grades you need, the points you need to get whatever grade you want. There will be some extra credit offered come the midway point of the semester. I'm always offering bonus questions if you don't do good on the quiz. So I want to take all that off of you so that you're here to learn. There are certain things you have to do, right? But just do the work, make an effort, and you'll leave with a good grade, I assure you. Late work. All work is due Sunday by midnight, except like the quizzes, except for the DBs. The DBs, as I stated a second ago, are always due. The original post are due Thursdays, followed by the 2 peer responses on Saturdays. That's not going to change. If anything changes, if I extend due dates or anything like that, I'll put it in your announcements tabs. That's where we will communicate. So just know that anything late won't be, the DBs and quizzes are not accepted late, because DB, by nature of the very assignment of it being a discussion, if you don't take part in the discussion, I mean, you can't just do an assignment later and turn it in. That's not part of the discussion, right? So you can understand that. Formatting of all assignments, just like in my other class, it needs to be in your APA 7 writing style, right? Everything you do turned into me needs to be 12-point font times New Roman font. Easy for me to say. I'm struggling today. So 12-point times New Roman, double spaced. Double spaced only helps you, right? You end up writing like 4 or 5 paragraphs for 2-page papers. Not a big deal. So with 1-inch margins, that's up to you. You will lose points for not following that format. Same thing with title pages and things. There's lots of APA help in Blackboard. Plus you'll have a whole video. Plus we have a writing center at UST. Please feel free to use it. And I'll get to, there's some other help as well. A lady named Keontae that's phenomenal with our students. So it's your responsibility to, again, you see a theme here, check your email and your university email and your Blackboard often, because I will be posting things weekly, sometimes multiple times a week. So you can read through your standards of conduct and integrity, right? We want you to start thinking in the like of a professional. And so when a student comes and says, oh, I have a family, or I have this, we all have families, right? And we all have things come up in life. I'm happy to work with you, provided you communicate with me where I can. But at the end of the day, you have you took the responsibility of this course when you signed up. Just like when you become a professional, you took the responsibility of that role, right? And so you're in a unique role here as a student. We're asking you to be students, professionals, and clients in some assignments, right? So it really is a unique role. So you can go on to read about the academic integrity. You should probably all figure that out by now. Blackboard is the system we use. There's help for Blackboard. We're going to go over that right after this syllabus. Tells you about weather-related changes or changes to schedule. Again, UST will send something out for weather-related. Shouldn't have really affect us too much. As soon as I say that, though, we had that freeze a few years ago that knocked everybody's internet out and things. So, things like that, we'll take it as they come. If you have any learning disabilities or differences, here's lots of information of who to contact there. Again, we have a writing center. Incomplete grades are only given in extreme circumstances. Withdraw from the course with a W, you have to do it by a certain date. There's an academic calendar in Blackboard I'm going to show you. And at the end of the course, we ask that you do an evaluation. That's your voice. What you liked, what you didn't like. That's about me, about the course, about the assignments, whatever it is, that's your voice. We encourage you to use it. So here's You know, you can look through this. I think they're all essential here. You know, I don't know, even a course evaluation here. So, okay, here's the important thing, the course calendar. So, no matter what your calendar online says, this is what you follow, is your syllabus schedule and your course module schedule in Blackboard that I'm going to show you in a minute. Sometimes when transferring material from one class to another, the dates get out of whack, and I don't have any way to know that till you start telling me. But don't panic. This is always what you refer to as your schedule right here, right? Or your weekly course modules in Blackboard. It'll always be this unless I tell you otherwise in an announcement. And don't worry, I'll never change anything overnight and throw you for a loop. There'll always be ample time to do whatever if there are any changes made. So that said, week 1 you have a syllabus quiz and your DB introduction. So it's really, this week is a fairly light week for this course in particular, just to get to know the course, get to know these. I would really encourage you to get a jump on these assignments. Look at these assignments. If you wait till the last minute to do these, especially the 2 that are worth a quarter of your grade each, so 2 of them are worth half your grade, I think you're going to be in for a shock. That you know, it's something you want to start working on as soon as you can. I'm not saying you have to do it today, but at least start looking, get familiar, see what you need, see what kind of time it's going to take, and on these off weeks, be willing to start working on those. So, second week, you read chapter 1. No assignment due, right? So other than to read that chapter. So I'm going to encourage you to really start getting ahead of the game. Week 2, you have to read chapter 2, and your first DB is due. Now on your introduction DB, you don't have to follow DB guidelines. You just kind of follow the format they're laid out for you. But the second one, you absolutely have to follow the 200 to 250 words, 2 scholarly resources due on Thursday, followed by 2 replies with 100 to 150 words, 1 resource due on Saturday. That's a must on week 3. Week 4, you got your first quiz. That's going to be over chapters 1, 2, and 3, plus there's a 10-page article you need to read, and that's what the quiz is going to be over. So if you want to work ahead, please do. But just know that's what you got coming up the first 4 weeks. Then it's a DB and a quiz. Every week you got a chapter to read, then a DB, a quiz. Then your treatment plan's due week 10. That's a quarter of your grade, guys. So I'm going to encourage you where you can to work ahead, get ahead of these readings, take these quizzes, knock them out, and work on this treatment plan. You got spring break ahead of time as well, but I want to really encourage you from day 1, don't wait to the last week for this. Then you see quiz 3 in week 11, nothing other than a reading in 12. 13 is an Easter break. 14, you have a quiz, DB, followed by your intake interview is due week 16. Again, it's 25% of your grade. If you wait till week 16 to do it, you're probably going to end up in trouble, right? Meaning you're going to be up against it and not be able to get it done. So pay attention to these guys, please. Then you have a last week. You have instead of a final, there's no final or midterm here. You have to watch this video and do a DB. On that one, you won't have to do any responses. Sorry, someone's calling, or anything like that. It'll just be that. So, and we'll talk much more about these as they come up. This is just to give you an overview. So now if you look at Blackboard, open up, you should have Blackboard open. The very first thing you're going to see is your announcements page. That's the first thing to come up. Everything we do will be through here. Every communication other than I may send some emails to you will be here, right? Anything related to the class, my response to things will be here. So your first tab is your announcements tab. That's going to be there. The next one is your syllabus. You can click here and find your syllabus. Is one of 2 places you'll find it. So always refer back to there. Here is your next link is going to be your academic calendar, right? And I'm looking on the left-hand side in the gray area here, or the darker gray area where you have basically your table of contents here. Your academic calendar is going to show you things like last day of class, last day to withdraw and get a W, last day to withdraw and get refunded X amount of money. These are dates you need to know. There they are. The next tab is going to be a virtual meeting link. So I always am in favor of doing Zoom meetings if you ever want to do those and meet that way, go over APA or an assignment. We can do that as well. I'm always, if you just want to chop it up about the industry or about the field of work or study, I'm always happy to set up a Zoom meeting with you and talk to you. Whether you want to do it as a class, as an individual, that's up to you. But if we do, that's where you'll go to find them once we set it up. So class module activities, this is going to be your lifeline right here. This is, if you click that, you'll see every week you'll see there's coursework here. This is where you'll go to turn in your work. This is where you'll go to find your work that's due. Look at your syllabus schedule, but you'll find it here. You'll see these boxes are just an overview of every week what's due. So, you know, you can take a look. This follows the syllabus schedule to a T. So if you click it open, you'll see this is where you'll turn in your syllabus quiz. And also week 1, another spot you find your syllabus quiz, introduction DB. You'll click there and do that. Week 2, there's nothing due, so you'll click it open. You'll just see a PowerPoint. There'll be a PowerPoint every week from the book manufacturer, publisher, that comes with the reading. You can use that to glance that. So you'll just read this and do that. Week 3, you'll have your first DB. And that's, again, you'll click this open. It'll tell you exactly what to do, where to do it. You'll click DB2. That's where you'll turn it in. All your work will be turned into Blackboard. I won't accept any work that's not turned into Blackboard unless we've discussed it previously. But you just, course module activities is where you'll go to turn in your work, see what's what, where you turn it in. You'll go week by week here. Every assignment can be turned in there. So the next, I will put an extra credit tab in here. It's already here, you just can't see it, but I'll open it up middle of the semester. So there's also a tab called discussion boards. You could go right here for your week's discussion board. I would encourage you to just go through the course module week by week. That's the best way to do that. Then here you have a resources tab in this one that you don't have in my other class. And the reason for that is this is all the work you need, all the things you need for this class. Like there's a case study you have to do in there and some part of your treatment plan assessment. So there's where you'll find that. You'll find it in the course module for that week too, but you'll also find it here. Here's an example of a diagnosis and a treatment plan. Here's the movie. Here's the DSM-5 is in here. You don't have to buy a copy of that, although I would encourage you to at some point. You're gonna need that as a professional. Here's the article, everything you need is in this, right? Everything is in this resources tab. Then you move down, there's an APA writing tab, right? And so when you watch the APA video, this is where you're gonna go to follow along with these examples I've created. There's a sample paper in here for APA 7 writing. I use the APA 6 to get through college, literally. There's also a student sample paper. I teach at Lone Star College as well. And one of my students from Lone Star a few semesters ago was kind enough to let me keep her paper as an example. It's flawless. It's not perfect because it's too long, right? If she would have shortened it up, it would have been perfect though. It's literally, the citations are flawless, and that's what your writing needs to look like. So follow that. Title pages, reference pages. There's all kinds of university resources there. So then there's LCDC resources. There's your rules and regulations. You're gonna need to know those. Maybe not for this class, but these are what guides our license. So it's important you get familiar with these things. I would encourage you to print this out even. IC and RC is where you take your exam, your state exam, get to know IC and RC. DSHS, DSHS, Department of Health Services, that's where you'll see information about your license. TAP is the Texas Association of Addiction Professionals. SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, lots of free material there, so good. Of course, there's DAAC, which is another, like TAP, it's another National Association of Addiction Professionals. There's a Suicide Lifeline, AA, Al-Anon, NA, Celebrate Recovery, Refuge, SMART, and an ACA, Adult Children. Just some resources for you. You need to know these places, right? If you don't know them today, you need to start getting familiar. And And then you have your grades, email, instructors, student support services. And then after student support services, you have Blackboard and IT help. Lots of information in those you can check out. But I want to take a minute and go over the student support services because there's wellness services here where the counseling departments or disabilities, there's a tutorial center, the counseling services, veteran success center, the registrar's office, financial services, and it's just so helpful here. So look through these things. The one thing as I'm talking to you, I realized wasn't on the syllabus, and I'll put it on there so it will be on your syllabus, is there's a section called Other Help. And there's a lady's named Keontae Grantham who is phenomenal with our students. Her email and phone number will be there. Now, sometimes I'll ask Keontae to reach out to you. Other times you can just reach out to her if you're struggling. Now, she helps you with how to manage your time, how to navigate college. Like, she's just how to navigate the assignments. She's wonderful with our students. Please take advantage of this resource. It's if you need it at all. She's very helpful. So that said, guys, that's kind of a nutshell of the syllabus and Blackboard. I look forward to working with you, and if there's any way I can be of help, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll talk soon.